Right, we're going to go ahead and start with our media availability this afternoon at Texas Motor Speedway. We are now joined by Ty Dillon, driver of the number 3 West Coast Chevrolet. Ty won the NASCAR Camping World Truck Series race here last November and is making his second career NASCAR Nationwide Series start this weekend. He's currently third in the NASCAR Nationwide Series points. And Ty, just talk a little bit about your season, but coming back here to Texas following your win in November.
Yeah, it's been definitely a great start to our year. We've kind of accomplished what we wanted to here in the first, eighth or a quarter of the season. And we wanted to be consistent, make sure we get these finishes so we don't put ourselves behind. Not only are we trying to win Rookie of the Year, but we also want to win the championship this year. So we put ourselves firmly up in the top 3 in points, and things are going pretty smooth, but me and Danny are very competitive, and we weren't totally happy with all our finishes. We want to be up front battling for races, so we're going to keep working hard. We got a long ways to go this year, lots to still learn about each other, and for me, definitely a lot to learn about this series and what I need in my race cars. But it's been a very productive and great start to our year.
Right. Well, go ahead and open for questions for Ty. Okay. Come over here to Jerry.
Hey, Ty, Jerry Fraley from the Dallas Morning News. I know it's very early in this season, but I'm just curious, as you're learning, do you find you're learning being around the Cup guys as much as anything, or does that stand out at all for you?
Yeah, definitely. We're the cool thing about the Nationwide Series is that we get to run with the Cup guys pretty much every weekend, or at least the top drivers in the Cup Series almost every weekend with Kyle Busch and Brad Keselowski and the other guys, Matt Kenseth, the guys who jump in and run these cars. And for a rookie like me who doesn't have any Cup experience other than a couple tests, it's awesome to be able to go out there and race against these guys and get that kind of experience. And that way, if you can beat them, you can handle the next level. So, and that's my ultimate goal, is to make it to the next level. So I enjoy running with those guys.
All right. Additional questions for Ty? Okay. We can get a microphone in the back, and then we'll come up front to Brad.
Toby Christie, dailypitstop.com. Ty, a lot of the other rookies don't have very much experience at mile-and-a-half racetracks. You do, though. Have they kind of come to you for any advice at a track where Sprint Cup Series regulars dominate quite a bit?
No. I don't think they're going to ask me for any advice. But the rookie class this year is really strong, as you can tell, with Chase and I both being in the top 5 in points and fairly competitive each weekend and week out. But I think we're all pretty much rookies to the mile and a halves in the NASCAR Nationwide insurance car. So I still got a lot to learn, and I'd be more than welcome to give them what I know, but most of that's through the Truck Series and just a couple races here and there in the Nationwide Series on mile and a halves.
All right, we'll go to Brad and then Bob.
Brad Norman, NASCAR.com. Ty, with your kind of seminal win last year for RCR here, is that something you think about every time you pull up to the track now? Is it something you'll always think about throughout your career when you come to Texas?
Yeah, but I'm kind of the guy that, and I kind of wipe my slate clean every time I come to a racetrack, whether it's a good finish or a bad finish. I don't want to have lingering thoughts of I came here and won last year. I know exactly what to do, and I always want to try and push myself to do better because this is a new series, a new car for me, and it's cool to have confidence coming to place. You've won at and had great success, and I just want to continue that over to the Nationwide Series, and I know I still have a lot to learn, and I hope we can pick up where we left off last year with a win. And I love this track. It's been very good to me with all the finishes that I've had here in the top 5, and getting that 300th win for the 300, 200. Did I get that wrong?
I think it was 300.
I think
it was 300.
300. That's that tells you how much I lingered on it.
Oh, maybe 100.
Maybe 100.
Well,
yeah. See, there you go.
Is that right? Okay.
Yeah.
All right, we'll go to Bob.
Bob Parker, Sporting News. I have 2 questions. The first is, with the nationwide races being a little longer than the truck races, have you gotten a chance to kind of get a feel of, how you really can have more input and how you finish in the nationwide series?
Yeah, I think the biggest difference in the length for me isn't necessarily the time in the car, but the adjustments that you have the opportunity to make throughout the pit stops and how much you can get yourself behind if you're not perfect on pit road and whatnot. Because the truck series, if you missed a little bit on pit road, your pit road speed getting in and out, you could still, you might lose one spot. But the Nationwide series, the competition's higher, and with all the pit stops, you can really lose a lot of space. And I feel like that was kind of one of my weak points maybe last week in California after going back and watching some tape on getting on pit road and my pit stop, getting out of the pit stall, and a couple things. We had a fast car, probably could have ran a little bit higher, top 5 possibly, but whether it was myself or just our whole team, we kind of put ourselves behind on the in and outs of pit road, and just made some mistakes as a rookie, and I try to push myself to not make those mistakes in the race, but just something I know I can definitely get better on, and the cool thing is I can learn from that.
And next week, Darlington, you raced there last year. I assume you're happy you got that race kind of under your belt last year, now that you're full-time this year.
Yeah, for sure. I think it took me till about 3/4 of the way through the race to really figure out how to get around that place. In Darlington, it's definitely the toughest track I've ever been to try and learn the proper groove. And I've done a lot of dirt racing, a lot of racing in different series at different racetracks. And Darlington's a different animal, and I'm very glad to get that first run there out of the way. And I feel like I can go there now, and I know what I need for my race car to at least run the top 5 and hopefully battle for a win. So I'm looking forward to going back now.
All right, Dustin?
Dustin Long, MRN.com. Got a couple questions. First off, with the way the season has started, with having top 10s except for the 11th place finish, is that what you expected, what you thought, or is that a little bit better, a little bit worse than what you hoped?
Well, I always expect to try and run the top 5, but to run, I guess as far as back as 11th as our worst finish is definitely a good thing. I'm not going to discredit it, but I know what my team's capable of, and I know what I feel like I'm capable of, and been somewhat disappointed with some of the finishes. I was disappointed with, I guess, 8th last week. So I just want to get up there and win. I feel like I push myself really hard. I'm the only person that can push myself as hard as I do. And even though it is my rookie season, I want to be up there battling with these guys right away because I want to win the championship in my rookie year.
And also just curious, with you and Austin, I know your schedules keep you guys busy. Are the schedules keeping you busier where you don't spend as much time with him, or you don't get to talk to him as much as years past, or are you able to do more now as you guys both move up? Because both have gotten off to pretty good starts so far this season.
Yeah, and the cool thing is we only live about 100 yards from each other, so he lives just right up the hill, and we still get enough time to where I'm ready to get away from him during the week. But no, it's I think it's good for us to stay busy. We grew up racing 3 or 4 times a week, so both of us are really enjoying the fuller schedules this year, and we always have time for each other, whether it's at the racetrack or going to dinner or playing golf or whatnot. So we still get our time in together and still are able to really feed off each other. And I've stayed for probably more cup races this year than I have in the last couple of years, just because every time I feel like with him I can always go pick his brain after practice and stay for the cup race, and something about just having your brother in the race, that's kind of the next level up. It's always been beneficial to me to put a headset on and feel like I'm part of the team and get in there and learn from all the mistakes or good things that he's done. More times than not, it's good things, but the mistakes are what really helps me out even more, because I feel like I've been through it too when I'm able to listen to him and be a part of his race team on Sundays.
Okay, we're going to go to the back, and then we're going to come up front and end with Alan.
Janine Cloud with Skirts and Scuffs. Kind of to follow up on that, the theme of racing all the time, what do you find are the challenges and maybe some of the advantages of running more races? I know you went in the truck series, you only run a few, and now you're racing almost every weekend.
For me, I don't feel like there's any disadvantage for running every weekend. I was a little depressed last week having the weekend off, and I'm not looking forward to, after Darlington, having a couple weeks off. I want to race every week because I race 70 or 80 times a year going up through the series, running dirt and stuff. So I'm used to that racing back-to-back grind, and I always made myself better through that because I could build on some momentum and really keep my mind sharp and learn. And it's always been about learning. And for me, and I'll never feel like I won't stop learning driving because the more I race, the more you can learn. You never stop learning. So I'm excited to get to our 26 week or whatever it is stretch in the middle of the season because I feel like my team, I have the best guys that are preparing great race cars, and I feel like I'll definitely excel being able to race week in and week out.
Okay, we'll end with Alan.
Alan Cavana, NASCAR.com. You touched on it a little bit, but at the end of the day, at the end of a race, are you comparing your finishes to like the Regan Smiths and Trevor Baynes of the world, or are you comparing yourself to other rookies and people who, I mean, with your experience level? I mean, how do you compare yourself at the end of the day?
I try to compare myself to the Cup drivers because that's what I want to be. Even though I am a rookie, I keep an eye on our rookie battle because it's going to be a good one, and I feel like that's also going to be one of the championship battles too. But I'm here to win races. I'm not really here to finish fifth or. And the Cup guys are the best, so those are the guys I compare myself to. And if I'm not competing at the level that I want to, that's what I'm going to push myself to be.
All right, okay. Yeah, go ahead, Dustin, real quick.
Ty, obviously there's been all the big debate about the Cup guys in the Nationwide Series, and how does it help you where at some races the best you're going to finish is fifth or sixth? You know, to fans are like, what's the point of that? How's it helping a younger guy getting, I'm not going to say getting your butt kicked, but sometimes that happens. I mean, how does that help, and why does that matter, or or is there a frustration with sometimes you have to accept sixth or seventh is first place in class?
Yeah, more times than not, they are kicking our butt. The Cup guys are, but if I were to go out here and the Cup guys weren't in the race, and if I were to finish second or third, I'd feel like I didn't have anything else to learn. I wouldn't feel like I had to push myself. I'd feel like I could come back here next time and have a chance to win. But when you got the best guys in the sport come down here and they finish in the top five, and I finished sixth or seventh, and still felt like I had a good car through practice. You know, you finish practice and you feel like you have a good car, and you get in the race, and those guys, you know, stack up the top five, then you're sixth or seventh. And, you know, it really gives you something to think about coming back to the next race, and gives you something to learn on. And because there's been plenty of times, even this year, I felt like I've had the best race car and finished seventh or eighth, and every single car in front of me is Cup guys. So if I didn't have those guys to push myself, I don't think I wouldn't be as good driver for hopefully one day when I make it to the Sprint Cup Series.